Your warm-up for Monday starts with 1 minute of a chair shoulder stretch and then 3 rounds, 10 pause squats, 10 Cossack squats, 5 inchworms, and 10 dead bugs. Let's take a look at it. Monday's warm-up starts with a chair shoulder stretch. We're gonna get a minute. We want your hands about shoulder width apart, thumbs pointed up. Sit back, arms straight, and pressing your armpits toward the floor. Do not just press your chest toward the floor. Think flat back, head through, pressing those armpits toward the floor. If you're using something low like this, the further back your knees are, the harder this can potentially be. You could also use something relatively high. Just gonna turn the trusty chair around. So it's not as much of an angle, but you can still work on pressing those armpits forward, opening up that shoulder position. 1 minute of stretching. Next movement in the warm-up, 10 pause squats. Find that good squat stance. We're gonna use this a lot today. Feet just outside of shoulder width, down to the bottom, and wait. We want at least 2 seconds at the bottom. If your hips feel tight, take a second down here. Drive those elbows into those knees. Play a little side to side. Open this up, make sure you're stable. Right back up. Down, pause for at least a couple seconds. Right back up. We're gonna get 10. After pause squats, we have Cossack squats. Really wide stance, squatting back down to the side, really working on one side at a time here. So heel on the ground, knee over your toe, chest as tall as you can be. Feel that big stretch. You may feel a big stretch in that adductor too. Back to neutral, right back down. You can always use your hands to get low if this is tough. Walk down into that position. It might mean putting a hand behind you. This is more about opening those hips up and feeling that stretch. 5 to your right, 5 to your left, 10 Cossack squats. Third movement is inchworms. Big hamstring stretch. Legs stay straight. Reach for the ground. We're gonna walk only with your hands. Walk your hands out as far as you're able. Stay tight. Walk your toes to your hands. Trying to keep those legs as straight as you can. Stand on up and do it again. Slow and controlled. Let's get 5 inchworms. Finishing the warm-up, come on down to the ground for some dead bugs. Lighting that core up. We're going to press your lower back really hard into the ground. There should be no space between the ground and your lower back. Knees at 90 degrees. Hands straight up, maintaining that connection with the ground. Extend opposite limbs. So right leg, left arm. Extend, press, press, press. Only extend as much as you can keep that connection. As soon as you feel your back starting to give way, your dead bug is over. Back to neutral. Reset. Tilt those hips up hard. And now left leg, right arm. Extend and back. Slow and control. Maintaining that position. 5 on your right side, 5 on your left side, 10 dead bugs. Your Metcon for Monday is workout 1 of the Support Your Local Box fundraiser. It's a 10-minute AMRAP. Starts with 10 squats, 9 snatches with your right arm, 10 push-ups, 9 snatches with your left arm. Lots of options here. Let's take a look. Looking at Monday's Metcon, it is a 10-minute AMRAP starting with 10 squats. Squats are air squats. As always, feet about just outside of shoulder width rather. Toes either straight forward or slightly out. If you're someone who tends to squat like this, fix it. Bring those toes in. Chest tall, as low as you can get, moving really well. Heels on the ground, knees tracking over your toes. Up as quickly as you can. From the side, nice and tall. Low as you can go. Up nice and fast. If you have a hard time getting to depth, you want to use a chair or something else to mark that depth for you, that's totally cool. As always, we only go as low as we can and make it look good. If you start coming down and failing forward, unable to stay tall, let's limit that depth a little bit. Here, or even sitting down, right back up again. After 10 squats, we have 9 snatches with your right arm. This is written using a single dumbbell, 35 pounds, 50 pounds respectively. We are sticking with our at-home setup, assuming you don't have a dumbbell. If you do, rock and roll, use a dumbbell. My preference for this would probably be, what I have lying around is the old gallon of bleach, or nearly a gallon of bleach. So I would do this kettlebell style. This is staying nice and tall, tap the ground. Think zipping up a sweatshirt, keeping that weight really close to you as you pull up and extend overhead. Pull up and extend overhead. I think that might be out of frame, but I think you understand. Locked out really hard. If I had a dumbbell, same idea. I would hold it really tight, touch the ground, overhead, making sure at the top your arm is locked out, your hips are open, that object is straight overhead, not out in front of you somewhere, all the way overhead. 9 on your right side. If you don't have a bottle or something like that, you could also use a book. I grabbed a closed box of milk bones here. Same idea, just hold it by the sides, tap, up overhead again. After you get 9 with your right arm, we have 10 push-ups. As always, we want to bring your chest to the same level as your hands. Knees stay off the ground. So here, nice and tall, arms relatively close, tap the ground, right back up. Tap the ground, right back up. This is the part that's going to get hard about this workout, so be ready for that. Push-ups are probably going to be the limiting factor for most people. If you want to start or have a plan B of an elevated push-up, that's a great idea. So changing that body angle, but the same movement, hips stay open, chest to the same level as your hands, press back up again, down and back up again. Immediately into 9 snatches with your left arm. Same idea, object taps the ground, really tall chest on the way up and on the way down. Sometimes we see when people are snatching, they look really good on the way up and then they put their weight down like this and put a ton of pressure on that lower back, and it ends up hurting tomorrow. So strong on the way up, strong on the way down. Another modification I forgot to mention, you could do a single object ground to overhead here. So if you didn't have something you were comfortable holding in one hand, or it didn't feel like enough, you could use 2 hands. This could be our trusty book bag, a couple of books, almost anything. Tap all the way overhead. Tap all the way overhead. Last thing I was going to say, what was I going to say? Last thing I was going to say, if you don't have an object that feels heavy enough, if what you have is a 1-pound water bottle and you're just slamming through it, double the reps. So we'll go 18 your right arm, or 10 squats, 18 snatches with your right arm, 10 push-ups, 18 snatches with your left arm. Will make up for that lack of weight with a little bit more volume. 10 minutes, as many as you can get. This is supposed to be constant movement with great range of motion. Have fun. Your finisher for Monday is 3 rounds, 30 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest. Tuck-ups, heel touches, sit-ups, bicycle crunches, and a plank. Lots of work. Let's take a look. Your finisher, 30 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest, 3 times through, starting with tuck-ups. Tuck-ups, ideally we're starting if we can pressing your lower back hard into the ground, up to that coccyx balance, knees together, nice and tight, back down, up and down. As many as you can get in 30 seconds. If you start going way too hard, just turn them into sit-ups right away. We are doing sit-ups later on, it's totally fine. Feet flat on the ground, all the way up. You could also turn it into butterfly sit-ups, soles of your feet touching each other, shoulders touch the ground, all the way back up. As many as you can get in 30 seconds. Movement 2 of your finisher is heel touches. Lying flat on the ground, knees around 90 degrees. The further away your feet are, the harder this movement will be. So, hands at your sides, and what you're going to do is twist and bend and touch your heel. Touch your heel, touch your heel. Back and forth, as many as you can get for 30 seconds. Movement 3 is sit-ups. We talked about it a little bit for tuck-ups. Your options, if you have something you can wedge your feet underneath, a couch, a chair, some dumbbells, whatever, you can absolutely anchor your feet to the ground, shoulders to the ground, Shoulders over your hips. If you don't have something, we usually suggest the butterfly sit-ups. Soles of your feet touching each other. Shoulders to the ground. Right back up again. Up and down for 30 seconds. Movement 4 is a bicycle crunch. Still staying on the ground. We're gonna gently rest your fingers by your ears and touch elbow to knee as your other leg extends. Twist, elbow to knee. Ideally going quickly. Back and forth, right, left for 30 seconds. Final movement of this finisher is a plank. Come on down to your forearms, hips open, and squeeze everything. You should feel your calves, your quads, your butt, certainly your abs, everything as tight as you can be. If someone tried to push you over, they would fail. Squeeze really, really tight for 30 seconds, 30 seconds of rest, and back to the top, 3 times through.